us through a community of love. We ask now that you would bless those people that have created this food and worked to serve it, and that you would use all of us in your kingdom. We pray in Christ's name. Amen. Okay, everybody, lunch is ready. And I just think that's so awesome that Ed Martin and Gary Rose came back. I'd like them to stand. Please. There he is. Round of applause. So awesome to have them. And then, I don't know how many folks may have had to leave. I know there's been quite a few who have been in this church before or otherwise connected to Paul. So maybe a hand raising if you used to be a member and came back for today. Let's see. Oh, look at that. Isn't that wonderful? So glad to have you all here for this wonderful party. Enjoy your meal.
Also, Jan made her own cake for something special for him. If you get a chance and haven't seen it, make sure you get a look at it before you leave today. So, this is a fall special day. It's a special day for all of us here at PCA. And I'd like to begin here by some presentation of some gifts that we have from Paul. The first one I'd like to introduce is Barb McKinney for her calligraphy of the organist. Oh, that's Barb? Oh, okay. Okay. So here to present this is Barb and Karen. Karen did the calligraphy. Any talent? You know, find out something all the time here. Okay.
Did I? No. This is the beautiful calligraphy. It's a certificate for Paul. And on behalf of our congregation, I would like to read this to you, Paul. It's in grateful appreciation to Paul Berry for 46 years of dedicated and faithful service to God and the congregation of Presbyterian Church of the Apostles in Burnsville, Minnesota. The session confers upon him the title of Organist Emeritus as of September 2018. Congratulations, Paul. And thank you.
Next, I'd like to introduce Joe Root, who, along with me, will be presenting a gift from the choir. So, Paul, on behalf of the choir, there's been so many people over the years, not just the choir that we have now, that have benefited and enjoyed your music. They enjoyed your the way you help us with practice and the way everything sounds on Sunday. We wouldn't be getting the compliments that we get if it wasn't for you. So I'd like to present this gift to you on behalf of all the members of the choir, past and present. Thank you. Next we have Emily Salter, who has a gift from the congregation.
Before I start this, Paul, you can sit down just a second. I just want to thank so many people who helped make this day a reality. Because so many of us love you and care about you. Thank you. Well, I don't want to get all over it. I'm going to just read through it. And some of you may see it on your tables, the little thank you list on the back. So we have Gwen and Paul who together playing that beautiful worship service. Thank you so much. We have Barry and Jean who ran all the technology, so we appreciate them a lot. Then we have our faithful kitchen crew. Tara and Joanne headed that up, and there are many others back in there who have prepared food, served food, will clean up food. So thank you to the fearless kitchen crew. We love you. In front of Paul and Kathy is a beautiful cake made by Natalie, who's a friend of Jan and Connie Gilbert. And it says, let's see, Paul, thank you for your beautiful music, PCA. And there's music all around it. It's a beautiful cake. And then a special thank you to Kathy and Paul for the wonderful cake from Willette. So thank you for that gift to us. John Higgins, thanks so much for volunteering to be our MC. And Michelle Potter's two daughters are the ones who created the slideshow for you. So I had to turn it over to the youth of the people I know to do that. And of course, Michelle helped with it too. Michelle also helped me prepare a book for you with notes for Paul. So I wouldn't have been able to do it without her. She talked me down from my pants several times. Sandy Thompson, Joan Rude, Jean Corrado, all of you who have taken pictures over the years so that we could put together the wonderful slideshow that you've seen. Karen, thank you for your gift to Paul in creating the calligraphy. I just gave her, I said, can you do this for me? And she came up with a beautiful idea and painted it for you. The musicians, Paul, thank you for the beautiful music today and all these years. And Cindy Gritzmacher for leading us so we could sing to you this morning, for Jan Gilbert for playing, for Sue over the years, for so many other talented musicians in our congregation, and for the PCA choir, which loves you dearly. And the planning team, I call us D, Darlene and Emily, and the 4 J's, Jan, Julie, Jackie, and Jared. So, the worship team, and Michelle. We could not get along without Michelle. So thank you for everybody who helped make this, and thank each one of you for being here to honor Paul. The next thing I'd like to present to you, Paul, is a gift book. And inside, people have written little notes to you, so that it'll be something that you would see pictures of yourself during the many seasons of the year, and with lots of people whom you work with. So, on the front it's notes to Paul with his hands on the organ. Do you know how many pictures there are of Paul with his hands on the organ? Yeah. And we also noticed, Paul, that you have a number of colored vests. You do. And I said, oh, here's the red vest group, here's the maroon vest group, here's the green maroon and the green. And it was really fun. You don't notice that as we were just going day to day, but you know, you say, oh, look at this when you start grouping them together. So if you didn't get a chance to sign this, by the way, please stop by. Just leave it on this table and you can sign it before you leave. And that is a gift from the worship council, the D and the 4 J's. Which Paul served? Yes, Paul served on the worship council, so he and Gwen were kind of the token guys in D, E, and the 4 J's. And then in seriousness, I'm going to read to you. I'm nervous, so. I'm going to read to you what it says on the card so everybody can hear the words that we wanted to say. Dear Paul, thank you for the gift of music you have shared with us these 46 plus years. It has brought us joy in times of celebration. It has brought us peace in times of sorrow. It has brought praise, always praise, and glory to God. As you has gifted us, we now would like to gift you. We offer our gift in love and appreciation for PCA family. For a few latecomers too, so there'll be more added to this in a couple weeks.
I'm astonished that there's a check in here for $1,600. And Gary is just overwhelming. Thank you very much. Thank you. There's one of those in there too.
There are going to be a few comments and stories to share before you get your turn. Okay, but I have one right here that came on my email last night at about 11 o'clock. And it says, hey Paul, congratulations on all your years of service for PCA and the joy you brought to every individual in every service. It was always amazing to hear you on the organ and piano before, during, and after service. I have fond memories of staying after the services to listen to whatever piece of music you picked out for that week, and being inspired at an early age when I was just starting music lessons. This is a mystery note. You continued to be an inspiration as I continued my musical journey through middle school and high school, and shared my music with the PCA community as well. I'll always remember sitting behind the piano getting to play music with you as part of special music or with the PCA band. Oh, yes, band too. Band choir. Thank you for all the memories and special moments you helped create for me and everyone in the PCA community. whether it be through music you play, the music we talked about, your support of others' music, and your general conversation and presence. Your music will be missed, never forgotten, and has inspired many like myself, young or old, to continue to pursue music and spread that joy to others. Brandon, Catherine.
It was fun making music with Brandon when he was here, and just an enjoyable experience for me. I'm glad that it was important for Brandon to do.
The others wanted to send a little note, but they didn't quite get it to me. I just checked my email. It wasn't here yet, so we'll get it to you. And here's another one, all the way from across the ocean. Dear choir, we send you greetings from a lovely Linz in Austria. It is Sunday morning here, and soon you will all be gathered. I am especially thinking of you, Paul, with so much respect and appreciation and gratitude for all of your service in bringing music to PTA. May today be a wonderful, honoring service. Jerry and Steve.
Thank you, Emily. Well, I'd like to kind of tell you a little bit about my friend Paul here. Well, Paul's, everybody's done eating. Well, I can say this, Paul's a maniac. When I say maniac, I mean Paul was born and raised in Maine. He graduated from Falmouth High School. You know, he didn't start out to be in music. In fact, he started out in the industrial arts program. Oh my goodness. And one of his English teachers saw something in him, and he noticed that Paul was kind of struggling with this industrial arts program, and said, you know, maybe you should be more interested in academics, English. So he started in this English program, and he liked it, and he excelled, and then he wanted to be a teacher. In fact, he joined a club in school called the Future Teachers of America. And when he graduated from high school and he went to college, the University of Maine, his intention was to be a teacher, and he was an English major. In his junior year, he discovered psychology, and he never looked back. And he told me, he said he didn't really miss Shakespeare anyway. So he completed it all the way through his PhD. And he came here, and he was our gift to us. He came here to Minnesota around 1970 as an intern at the University of Minnesota School of Clinical Psychology. And then he became an assistant professor at the same school teaching interns. He went into private practice in 1976, and he was the first American psychologist to be a consultant to the Social Security Administration for disability due to psychological issues. In fact, he became the chief of psychology for the Social Security Administration Disability Division. He was working 60 hours a week between his practice and consulting, and finally he decided to retire in 2007. Since he's retired in 2007, that just means he doesn't get paid for it. He still does a lot of pro bono. And he told me that he really enjoys doing pro bono because this is something he just really does from the heart, helping people. And anyway, I've got to know Paul the short time I've been here, and I'm really happy that we've made a good connection. We share a love of cars beside music, so we have two kind of languages that we can speak to each other. So anyway, there's going to be some more folks here who would like to say, and I got my program all mixed up here, so I'll figure out who is next. Okay, Sue Carlbo has some things that she would like to say about Paul also.
but I thought I might break down if I get a handle on things here. First thing I want to say before I even share some memories is that everything Paul did musically and in my observation in other ways was always overlaid with a total sense of spirituality. He saw his ministries of music and helping others in psychology as service to God, ways to enhance people's worship, to enhance people's lives. So he's a very spiritual person. He and I don't always agree on our theology, which just made our friendship spicy. But I personally don't know if I've ever known another person who has such an overlay of serving God in all that he does. First time my family and I ever came to PCA, the organ was in the corner of the old sanctuary closest to the pond, and it was that John Lennon version that Wayne talked about. He had a lot of hair. By that window was this fellow playing the organ, and we had moved here from a little church in Blaine, a woman who perhaps didn't have enough practice time. And I thought, wow, this guy can play the organ. I didn't meet him that day, and we didn't meet him well for quite some time, but gradually over the years, I got to know him as a musical buddy, and then our families got close. And the Berries always showed great interest and love to our children, Stacy and Megan. In fact, Paul played over their weddings in this church. Which brings me to another point, the sense of commitment to Paul. I didn't find out until after Stacy's wedding that he was playing with a fever that night. Once he made a commitment in music, he would not break it. You know, I backed him up for 32 or 33 years, and I can only remember one time when he called me early Sunday morning and said, I can't do it today, so can you play? He would play that organ sick, though he would play it in the condition that I won't mention in public. But it didn't stop him from having fun on Saturday night, that's all I got to say. He was a good party friend too, you know. I'm blessed that most of my close friends, a lot of them are in this church. So he's been playing here for about 46 years, as we've been told several times this morning. He's played for uncountable worship services, funerals, weddings, just about anything else you could do in this church. Any need that there is. And he bought all his own music in addition to not accepting any fee for services. So it's been a huge commitment all the way around. One of the funnest things he ever did in my life was to ask me to play with him at the piano. And so we had just a hoot, staying after choir practice on Wednesday nights, sometimes very late into the night, and sometimes on Saturday evenings. And we would laugh, argue over our difference in musical styles. We learned how to compromise. We learned how to read each other's nonverbal cues across that abyss between the piano and the organ. We made some mistakes. Occasionally we would play 5 verses to a 4-verse hymn. Really no recovering from, you know, with anything but egg on your face. But we also had a lot of fun, the two of us. One late Wednesday night we came out of the new sanctuary into the Narthex, and were swooped upon by one or two bats. And we were determined to not let those bats be invading little kids. So I went out in my car and got my tennis racket, and Paul, looking like a fool, was running around the Narthex trying to bat at that bat and bring him down. And of course he never succeeded because you just don't do that. Finally we gave up and went home, but oh my gosh, we laughed so much. Once we were at each of my pianos in my house, dance in my house, and we were working on 2 piano players, and all of a sudden Paul laughed so hard he fell off the bench, and Rachel came running and said, what is going on in here? So lots of fun times. I never wanted to be the lead musician here. I was always happy to assist, and I would refer to him as the head organist in him. But, you know, we needed somebody to kind of place. I now know what a difficult time he told me, but I didn't get it until I prepared remarks for today. When Danny and I left 7 years ago to move to I now know how hard it was to say goodbye because that's when I'm feeling right now. And I prefer not to say goodbye at all. I prefer to say I'll be here wanting to play organ and piano that's with you whenever you want to come back. Because this is still your church. And I found out when it was announced that the session had accepted your resignation, that there are a lot of people in this church, as close as you and I were, that I never knew you would help because nobody keeps the confidence better than Paul Derry. A lot of people came to me and said I couldn't have gotten through my wife's death or my husband's death or my divorce without Paul's help. So we always want you here. I hope you will continue to be in our church. Thank you, and I love you very much, Paul.
Thank you, Sue. I think our next one was Estella. Did Estella really have something to say? Huh? Oh, Wade and Tara are next. Your devotion at the organ every Sunday, which had to include every Wednesday night choir practice. Remember, you on the organ and Sue on the piano spoke so special for all of us to listen to. Your dedication of special organ and piano meditation music for hours on Good Friday and the Sunday before Christmas. It was your gift to God, but it was also a special gift to us as we listened. I liked personally your time on the piano. I could always feel your inflections and interpretations of the music when I closed my eyes to concentrate and hear the music. And please forgive me if I dozed off when I left. Remember your generous sharing of your talents at various other sites, like Sunday afternoons at the care centers. Your personal commitment to enhance and better the lives of all you came in contact with is a very special and welcome gift. Personally, I am a better person because you are willing to share your professional expertise with me. And I believe your faith has made you strong.
Okay, I'm here with my Kleenex and Lane, who would back me up here. Oh, knows this is a result of anesthesia for a couple of years, several years ago. I cry at anything, and so this is. I remember when I would bring our grandgirls to church on Good Friday every year, when they were little, to hear the music and be quiet, learn to be quiet. You always played Jesus Loves Me for them. I bet as the adults loved it too. As my mother got older and spent Easter and Christmas with us, she looked forward to those special music and quiet times. She loved you. You and Sue both always had unfailing patience at choir practice, over and over and over again. I appreciated your uncanny knack for finding just the appropriate music for every single holiday and even special Sunday themes. It was especially fun to watch you really get into the music on a particularly rousing piece bouncing on the dome and adding these flourishes and runs and so on. That was a lot of fun for all of us. Many years ago, when we were young and poor, because Wayne had either fallen off the roof or lost a job, you offered us tickets to Vladimir Horowitz. Do you remember that? Oh my gosh. We couldn't go and... I don't know. Isn't that something? Yeah. We couldn't go, and I regret it to this day. But it exemplifies your generous spirit.
Thank you, Tara and Wayne. Miss Stella? Stella would like to have a few words too.
I wasn't up there, but instead I am, so I have to say something. How can I not? I feel like I've known y'all 46 years. So way back. And the reason that I'm here still trying to see what we're finishing all the way here soon. I can never see it over soon when we talk to you. Step out in the summertime and while it's on vacation. So, encouraging all of this. Thank you. Maybe we can do
Thank you, Estelle. I'd like to introduce to you Mrs. Berry, Kathy. She would like to have a few words to say too.
I really didn't plan anything. I just wanted to say that when Paul and I first got married, he was working a lot, as you know, and going to choir practice and coming on Sundays, and then he was going to the nursing homes, and I was thinking, well, I can't wait until you're going to do this. But I gradually grew to understand his calling for doing this and how important it is to him, and what a gift he is to all of you. I have learned a lot about commitment, following through, and just stepping out from the heart. And that's what some of the things that I've learned from him. And I just want to say thank you because all of you have been a real gift to Paul. You've been supportive for him when he needed support. You've showed him love. And so I just want to say from both of us, thank you all very much.
Well, Paul gets to have the last word. So then I would like to introduce our organist emeritus, one of the pillars of the music ministry here, and my friend, Dr. Paul Berry.
This is only going to take a couple hours, so. What a difference 46 years makes. By the way, who is that dude? Take a picture of that dude. Who in the name of heaven is that person? He looks like one of the Beatles on steroids. I cannot believe that that was your organist many years ago, and I guess I can't deny it. So, yes, many things change in 46 years. Where did all that time go? I knew this day would come someday, but I never really believed that it would. If I put my glasses on, I can read right there now.
Well, the grace
grace of God, I have been your organist for 46 years, and this indeed is by the grace of God, and I'll tell you why. Because I have never had any formal lessons or any college training at all. Never. As a boy, I was fascinated by the organ. In Portland, Maine, where I grew up, we were blessed with one of the great organs of the world, the Kochma Memorial Organ. It was a massive pipe organ. And in the summer, they had weekly concerts, and I would sneak into as many concerts as I could. I didn't have the money to pay for them, but I would sneak in. And I could still hear and feel the mighty roar of that instrument all up and down inside of me. And that's why I've stayed here so long, waiting for you to put in a pipe organ. How much more do I have to wait? How much longer do I have to wait? We didn't have much money as a family, but I did take a few organ lessons from a lady of, well, let's say advanced age. And the problem with that was that she was a little old lady, and she had a phone number that was 1 digit off from the main medical center. Well, every hour that I went to have my lessons, 8, 10 times the phone would ring. And instead of, because of the wrong number, and instead of saying wrong number or not even answering it at all, she would answer the phone and she would comfort the person she was talking to for about 5 minutes. And that's the way it would go for my whole lesson. Still don't know why she did that. Anyway, I did play the organ back at my home church for 2 years, from the ages of 16 to 18, while the regular organist was out on maternity leave. And I did this on the basis of these few lessons that I took, and so I was none at all skilled to do this job. I was so scared my first time that I played that my leg was trembling like this. I had it aimed right down at the pedal note that I had to hit first, and for the doxology, you know. And every time it was bouncing like this, and it would hit the pedal and go bah, bah. I think the congregation thought it was some bizarre new beginning of the doxology. Then on one Christmas Eve, when I was playing there, still a kid, about 17 years old, we were singing "Hark the Herald Angels Sing," and some guy up in the balcony was fiddling with the lights, you know, and managed to shut the organ down. So I went, ah, and he quickly figured out what he had done wrong, so he flipped it back on, ah, and we kept going on and finished the piece. I never did figure out what had happened till the end of the year. Well, much to the relief of the congregation, the regular organist came back, and I went to college and never went near an organ or to take any organ lessons or organ music all of my college years. Then as I came to Minnesota on internship, as John has mentioned, at the U, we soon moved to Apple Valley, and my first wife, Rachel, to be very persuasive, some of you may remember, dragged me to church. Now, I didn't have any interest in church. I don't know if the Reverend is still here or not, but I didn't have any interest in church, but she persuaded me to come, and there was a lady playing an old ball of organ above the corner of that area over there, and her name was Harriet Klausler. Harriet Klausler, and she was also our mentor as we went into the orientation class, and she said to me, because she'd seen on my inventory list that I had played the organ back somewhere in Antiquity. And she said, is it possible for you to spare me for a couple of Sundays? I need a break. And as I said no in my head, I heard myself saying yes. Never been in that situation before. I heard myself saying yes, and I thought, well, how bad can it be? Just 2 Sundays. That was 46 years ago. 46 years ago. Harriet never came back. And I tease her by her name was Harriet Dawson now. And we tease about it. Well, since then, I have played for thousands of services, marriages, funerals, special events. I think I've married half the kids in this church. I've played under every pastor this church has ever had, and every music director. And also, like the mailman, I have showed up to play under all kinds of weather. Rain, snow, sleet, wind, snow, and it's a pretty ugly weather. But during all this time, having had no lessons, I managed to keep up with the quality of music that had progressively evolved in this church. And one of the reasons that I was able to keep up, given the lack of the training I had, was due to a lady named Sue Carpenter. Anyone ever heard of her? I remember the first time that I saw Sue at church. She was singing in the choir, and I was practicing a piece, and this piece was over my head, and I was stumbling and grumbling with it, and having very difficult playing. And someone had the audacity to suggest that Sue might give it a try. And I might sit down. So I said, well, I was embarrassed, but I said I was pretty confident that she couldn't handle it any better than I could. So I sat down. Well, she got up and played the piece perfectly, and I think she was texting on her phone at the same time. So over the years, I have learned a lot about music from Sue Carpenter. That's been a real blessing for me. And we did develop a real, as Sue said, a real musical bond, and I think played some very awesome music in this church over the years. We played our duets, we did many duets, and I think did a good job. And every time I would make a mistake, Sue would cover it up somehow. So it was kind of a match made in heaven. In recent months, I have begun to feel overwhelmed by the music. The church has progressed, music has progressed, and for a while it has felt like it's been over my head, and I've not been able to handle it, to make up with it. So I toyed with the idea a long time, and I decided I didn't want to stand in the way of the music program. I did make a decision to resign. And that's why I'm here today. Everything comes to an end, my friends. Everything changes. I am so grateful and honored for the years that I have been able to serve God and this church in music ministry. It has been a joy and a blessing. In closing, I recall a message from Phil Young, a former pastor of this church, during his last sermon at PCA. It was about the inevitability of change. The title of the sermon was, "The last person to leave, please turn out the lights." The last person to leave, please turn out the lights. That phrase has haunted me throughout the years. And I remember thinking, someday will stand up here and echo those very same sentiments. Today, with a heavy heart, I turn out the lights on my years as head organist at BCA. But not completely do I dim them, as I'll be around and I'll be playing some music from now on. I want to thank all of you, past and present, for your ongoing love and support for me as I have pursued this blessed journey of music for nearly 50 years. Thank you.
There are a couple of other people who would like to say some kind words about Paul. Kay Johnson is for one.
But, you know, I think it's really exciting that we're celebrating Paul, his music ministry, and also his things that he's done for people in the congregation. But I think also should be mentioned that Paul was an elder in the church, and he served on what we now call the Compassionate Justice Committee, and he really got us organized. So that was another thing that Paul did. In addition to that, he served on the P&C committee that brought Stephen Pike to us. And recently, in bygone years, he was in lots of adult education studies and so forth, and dealt very often with mental health issues. So, you know, Paul is a man with many, many talents.
And apostle.
And he was an apostle to along with Rachel. So anyway, this goes back to the very beginning. A lot of us will remember this, but it was the way we said so long at the end of the service. And so I like to read it. Go out into the world in peace. Go down to what is good. Return no one evil for evil. Strengthen the faint-hearted, support the weak, hope the suffering, honor everyone. Love, serve the Lord, rejoicing in the power of the Holy Spirit.
Well, Pastor Gwen would like to have a closing prayer as we conclude our celebration of Paul.
You know, there was so many beautiful words, and what prayer really is when God's Spirit moves between people and makes a connection. I think this whole experience has been a prayer, because I think of Paul's last words and some of the words he says. I don't feel called to say any more words other than the ones that have been said. And maybe we can say, do this as one to end this by saying that all God's people say.
Amen.
Thank you, everyone. Get home safely today. The football game is underway, so if anyone has anyway, thank you for coming.
And they're watching it at your house. They don't play till tonight, though. I thought it was